Don't chew on that, Max.
Cooper loves that chew too.
Oh, now he's into Cooper's food. Wow, he is loving it. What do you feed Cooper?
Blue Buffalo Life Protection Formula. He never leaves a crumb. I love it because it's made with high-quality protein, nutrient-rich fruits and veggies, and wholesome whole grains.
Looks like we're switching to Blue.
Blue Buffalo foods are made with the superior ingredients your dog needs to thrive. Can your dog food say that? Visit feedbluefood.com to learn more.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the Dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
All right, listen up, nacho chips. Quiet down, crispy potatoes. This is the moment Velveeta's been preparing you for, and you're not about to crack under pressure. Today's the day to go all in on the drip. Velveeta's Heat and Eat Queso is the MVP of any game day spread, so stick by them, and you'll be golden. Now get out there and make delicious history. No tailgate party is complete without Velveeta.
Welcome to Sephora. I'm looking for a perfume that's not too perfumey.
I got you.
Serum moisturizer or moisturizer serum.
Let's get into layering.
My concealer is making me look worse.
Sounds like the wrong shade. Let's get you matched.
There's only one store that really gets what you're going for. Get beauty from people who get beauty. Only at Sephora.
Hi, Let's get you a basket.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samara Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samara Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samara. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samara Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Tom, what are you cooking for your do or die dish in a Top Chef finale?
Do or die dish. I think I'm making American breakfast. Buddha did English breakfast at our big event in LA. I think I'm doing American breakfast.
What is that, like Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Yeah. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, not a la Kevin with the half and half instead of 2% milk. I'm doing egg omelet with bacon and some home fries. I'm doing, do I do no. I'm basically doing an American breakfast. However, I would lose that competition. I'm just telling you right now, I'm losing that competition. What about you?
I'm doing kakoto, which is Vietnamese braised catfish over creamy grits and collards. So it is my southern interpretation on a Vietnamese dish, or for that matter, a Vietnamese interpretation on a southern dish. But I have perfected it. I played it well now. I am making it for Game 5 of the NBA Finals on Monday night. This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Kevin Arnovitz.
And I'm Tom Haberstroh.
Tom, let's get to it. We just witnessed the first finale in Top Chef World All-Stars. And we also just witnessed our first back-to-back crown in Top Chef. The winner of season 19, Chef Buddha Lo, is the winner a year later of Top Chef All-Stars, World All-Stars season 20. This is an amazing accomplishment. There is no precedent. I think the first question I have for you is, does this put Buddha on the Mount Rushmore of Top Chef judges, Top Chef contestants? Who else do you have on that mountain? Does he belong there? Does such a mountain even exist?
I'm willing to say he is the greatest Top Chef contestant of all time.
Ooh, more than Voltaggio.
Yes. I would take him above Voltaggio. Just statistically speaking, Voltaggio didn't have as dominant of a season as we just witnessed from Buddha. We've seen more dominant seasons. Paul Key, when he won Top Chef Austin,
right?
He was just 9 elimination challenge wins compared to 5 for Buddha this year. Just put that in perspective. He almost had 2 times as many elimination challenge wins in that one season than Buddha did this year. However, Buddha did it in an all-star season. He also won 4 quickfires this season for a total of 9 victories this season. He won this all-star season, which Paul has never done. I think Paul has to be on that Mount Rushmore. I think Buddha is on that Mount Rushmore. I think Melissa King has to be on that Mount Rushmore. In her season 17 All-Stars, she won 7 elimination challenges for a total of 10 wins because she had 3 quickfire wins. So Buddha had 9 quickfire wins. 9 wins this season, including quickfires. Melissa King in an all-star season in 17 had 10, which is absurd. So, I think the 4th slot is interesting because you could put Brooke in there, Brooke Williamson. You could also put Gregory Gourdet, even though he hadn't won that season. I think he is worthy of contention, but I'm going to give it to Richard Blaze. Richard Blaze won his all-star season. And I think among the champions, he's got to be up there in terms of, repeat champions, just overall dominance in his own Top Chef career. So if I had to pick a Mount Rushmore, which is 4, I'm going Buddha, going Paul Key, I'm going Melissa and Richard Blaze. Although I'm missing Kevin Gillespie too. I'm missing the Voltaggios. This is difficult, but that's probably where I'm going.
I think then you go to, all right, is it just for the most statistical exceptional contestants, or is it for someone who kind of embodies the spirit of Top Chef, right? Like some people are excellent sort of ambassadors of Top Chef. I mean, one of the things I love about Buddha so much, and it came through in his victory reaction, was just he is a creature of the show. He loves the show. He loves competing on the show. He loves what the show provides in terms of sort of self-testing and competition and medal. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so drawn to Buddha, is he's such a fan of the show. It was like, the tennis player, the number 1 ranked tennis player, Carlos Alcaraz, did lose on Friday morning. But one of the things he's sort of like Steph Curry in that there are certain people who embody the joy of the game.
Yes.
And I think that for Mount Rushmore, hey, it's more than just a place to recognize statistical excellence. It's like Melissa King is one of those people, right? Like the joy of competing on Top Chef in and of itself. And, you could argue that, Michael Voltaggio was brilliant. Did he embody that? No, he's a little more stoic, a little more, same with Paul Key and possibly others. So, but let's get to the actual finale, because we do have, Tom, am I right?
You can't just zoom right by. Do you agree with my Mount Rushmore? If you had 4.
I'm fine with your Mount Rushmore. To each his own. I mean, I might, I like Blaze in there because I think Blaze is also very much a character of the game.
Yes.
Definitely being a character of the game is part of that. And
I think I want to point out right here, there's an amazing chart on Twitter. Carly Levitz, who did some basically some analytics on comparing final 3 chefs across the seasons, their first 13 challenges into the season. So this is an entirety of
this is an amazing document. Why has this not been brought to my attention beforehand?
It just popped up like in the last 24 hours and it came across the wire. Me? So they did a Top Chef weighted index, 13 elimination challenges into the season. There's basically a point index score that we have similar. Her methodology, we have 10 points for an elimination challenge win. She has 7 points for an elimination challenge win. Elimination challenge high, she gives 3 points, which is ratio about the same proportion that we have, where if you're in the high, you get 5 points. If you win, you get 10. And then they have she has an elimination challenge low, 3 points. We had 2 points. Basically, she has the same sort of rubric, right? And she did a whole database looking at the most dominant chefs in Top Chef history through 13 elimination challenges. And statistically, the number one most dominant chef through 13 elimination challenges is Kevin Gillespie from season 6 with 57 points in her system. Richard Blaze second with 56, Paul Key 51, Buddha with 50, and Melissa King at 48. Now, that does not consider, Kevin, the strength of schedule. Okay, the equivalent of strength of schedule that we see in pro sports, where we consider your opponent in how good you are or what your record says about you. And Buddha doing this in an all-star season, a world all-star season, and Melissa King getting 48 points in a an all-star season of her own. I feel like that bumps up if we do an adjusted weighted index. This is getting really nerdy and I love it. But essentially the top 5 performances of all time through 13 episodes, and we're at 14 episodes, and she's going to release another version of this to look at the entirety of the season. She has responded to my inquiry on Twitter. So right now, just through 13, Kevin Gillespie, even though he didn't win it in episode 14 of season 6, he's right up there with the GOATs.
Let's talk about the draft for sous chefs. Always a big question. Not sure how important it is, and we'll never really know in the grand schemes of does it influence outcome. But we got 4th, 5th, and 6th place. They're there to draw knives. Yep. And then we see kind of a draft that you thought was particularly interesting.
Yeah, well, Sarah getting the first pick and selecting Amar after they basically got eliminated was interesting on of its own. I don't disagree with her pick. I think she has a lot of chemistry, like she said. But the most interesting thing to me, Kevin, is Gabri here has a really interesting choice to make. It's not necessarily who you work best with. There's a little game theory here. Is you're basically deciding who Buddha gets as well. So by choosing Tom, he's taking Tom off the board for Buddha and essentially deciding, I think the upside of me getting Tom is worth the downside of Ali getting paired with Buddha. And to me, that's really interesting. Is would you rather, if you're Gabri, would you rather pick who you work best with? Or basically, if I'm going to have a shot at this thing, Kevin, I need to make sure that Buddha has the worst possible partner in this thing. And I think maybe you don't make the choice for Buddha's partner instead of your own partner, but there's a part of me that thought, hey, Gabri should have given Tom to Buddha, and that probably makes his chances of winning higher.
I don't know. I mean, I think, first of all, I think selecting for sous chef is a completely different animal, right? And it could be a case, and it gets very technical, and neither you nor I have been chefs, but it might be a case where Tom is a guy who deals with high volume cruise ships. And so in terms of just the grunt work that goes into prep, which is you were dicing onions, you are doing kind of more menial tasks, it might be that he is just perfectly suited to that. Or and for all we know, that's what we can ask Gabri. I mean, that what was the. So I don't know that sort of creativity or competence in the main competition. For instance, that's why one of the reasons I love like the mise en place race, which is it reveals all kinds of things. It turned out that like this person's just particularly fast. And that's kind of, I think, more what you want in a sous chef. And it might just be the case that, hey, Tom's got years of doing these high volume cruise ship environments where you're just producing stuff. And we're not going to worry about him screwing up the texture of a mochi, because really what he's about is just sort of dicing onions. And I think that might be the case. But Ali is last picked, first in your heart, last in the sous chef draft. And then we move on from there. And then the 3 really go to work. And it's one of the things I love about the finale is for all the great stunts, all the great challenges that we've seen this season, they've been particularly creative. At the end of the day, it's, hey, cook your food. What's the challenge? Cook your food. You're going to have plenty of time. You're going to have plenty of money. You might have to run all over to some specialty stores around Paris. Who knew there was a little Mexican bodega in Paris, which saved Gabri. But ultimately, in some ways, it is both the easiest and the hardest challenge. There is no way sometimes those rules and regulations really, I think, focus chefs. It doesn't in the finale because it is just cook your meal. And I imagine, Tom, you get the feeling that everyone kind of knew what they were coming in with. They've known for weeks.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, and I think we're going to ask them this when they come onto the show later. And by the way, we're going to talk to some of the chefs from the finale later on in this episode. I think the only variable here is, do you have the actual food? When you go grocery shopping, can you access the food on your menu? And that's kind of part of when you design your menu, is understanding, all right, all these things, I'm not going to get a curveball. I'm not going to go into the store and not find sweetbreads, which is what happened to Sara. When she was designing her menu, she wanted to do liver and onions, but with sweetbreads, couldn't find the sweetbreads, and then had to default back to livers. And we'll talk about that. But that's the sort of thing where if there is any sort of risk or any sort of variable that isn't quantified, and basically like they've been dreaming about this, they've been designing this for months, and of course there's no drama here. There is drama when it comes to the grocery shop. And so Gabri, looking all over for his plantains, didn't find any plantains, had to do the sweet potato, and that did hurt him later because it didn't have the right consistency, and he had to kind of workshop it. And the opportunity cost of reworking your dish with a limp sweet potato, I think it did hurt him in the end. Same with Sara. She lost a little bit of confidence with the liver, going with the liver and onions with sweetbreads, but not having the sweetbreads. So even though they've been concocting these, they've known what they're going to cook, they still don't know what's available until it actually happens. So there was a little bit of drama there.
Yeah, and one wonders if sweetbreads are available, which you think they would be in I mean, Paris is a wonderful place to shop for food, and I mean, it's a culinary capital. You know, if sweetbreads are available, is our conversation today entirely interesting? Is the outcome of the finale interesting?
Yes.
I'm really eager to ask Sara, and she's obviously going to be she's such a great sport. She will have no, we have to be the probing press conference sports writers here and just sort of ask, the person who lost, what happened there, which is a very difficult question to sort of throw at them. Listen, I think Buddha dodged a bullet as well. I mean, those first lobsters were clearly not what he was going for. And only, on that second visit to the fish market did he find those gorgeous blue lobsters and was able to kind of put together a dish that really, it needed to be good. He couldn't slip up. I want to zoom out for a second. And before we kind of run through the menus and kind of just look down from 40,000 feet, I'm going to ask you the big question. Are you under the impression that if that liver is even within the boundaries of acceptability, we're introducing Chef Sara today as the winner?
100%. I actually
100%. I agree.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind that if that liver was even slightly undercooked, if it was a medium rare instead of a blue, as Padma called it, I think she wins easily. I think this.
But let me throw a counter opinion at you. Now, I agree with you, but I also could be talked into the following, and I'm going to lay it out for you, Tom. And I want you to remember.
Okay.
This is an Emmy Award-winning reality show. They do exceptional editing. There is so much to work with.
No.
And actually, hold on. I'm going to throw this out. I'm just throwing it as a theory.
Okay.
I'm with you, but I think it's worth saying. And that what we didn't realize is there's an Occam's razor obvious outcome, which is Buddha was the most technically advanced. He didn't have a bad dish. He didn't really maybe there should have been a little acid, says Marcus Samuelsson, in his a little more acid in his red curry bisque. Maybe there was a little creamy, the clam chowder, whatever it was, but that in an effort to make it look closer than it was, that there was a lot of praise of Buddha's food that was just sort of clamped down in the edit. That you has it was technically nice. It was you didn't really hear anybody say much of it. And then actually what happened that evening in Paris was Buddha cooked a near perfect meal, not one technical flaw. Maybe, and by the way,
the first two dishes did lack acid. The first two dishes, Tom Colicchio also said.
Hold on. According to because actually Padma was adamant that the blue lobster dish was perfect, right?
Yes.
I mean, there wasn't all right, but lacking a little acid is a lot different than don't forget that Sara, you could argue, well, Sarah's Couvillon was a little bit overly spicy, according to some, right? Like, my point is I think there is an argument that I could entertain. I don't know that I do, that, hey, it looked to be a lot closer than it was. The fact is, Buddha was the most technically advanced chef. He was really the fewest flaws. One little, could have done a little hint of acid there. But really, there was nothing wrong, and it was gorgeous. And in an effort, though, to create drama, as is the job of the show, is that you can be selective with the commentary that is included. And actually, Buddha kind of ran one, not going away, but decisively enough. And instead, we were sort of like, hey, if it weren't for the liver. But I'm with you. I'm on team if it weren't for the liver. But I think there could be some reality to the reality showization of
sure. We don't know. We didn't taste the food. We don't know if they edited all the negative comments out of Sarah's to, kind of boost up the tension and the suspense. On my scorecard, I had Sarah's first dish, her Couvillon, the Louisiana shellfish, that I had as the winner of the first round. While I think a lot of people will focus on maybe it was too spicy, the tomato water was too spicy, most of the other chefs said, yeah, it was, like Gail said, it was aggressive heat, but it was full of flavor, and Padma was beaming about that dish. Whereas Buddha's, it was close. Like, I was debating whether Buddha won that round or Gabri. They love Gabri's dish if it wasn't for the overcooked cracker. And so even though I have it scored, Sara winning that round, Buddha second, and Gabri third, I could hear arguments for either one of those three winning.
Yeah. Now, Tom Colicchio just had it as a pick'em. I mean, and I think that was interesting. I mean, it was more. The Chapulina's tostada was over. I mean, that's a major component of that piece, and it was overdone. The second course is really interesting, right? And we have to talk about something that was not mentioned at all in the show after it happened. But we'll start. So we'll start with Buddha. We talked about the blue lobster with a gorgeous red curried bisque. He did get the pickled squash, which provided acid on the dish, though not enough for some of the diners. Sara did her undercooked veal liver with onion puree, the cookie butter and figs. And Gabri did a sweet potato empanada, which you mentioned was supposed to, it was ideally going to be, what was it supposed to be again? Remind
plantains.
me. Plantains, that's right, of course.
Plantains.
A black bean filling from a can in a finale, Tom. Like, basically going to get a can of Goya freaking beans that you used to make in the dorm.
And he burned the beans again, Kevin. He burned the beans.
All right. Oaxacan cheese, foam, and almond sauce. I don't know about you, and I'm not trying to be hard on Gabri. You throw canned black beans into your Top Chef finale, you're disqualified. Oof. I'm sorry. It's a if Sara had to hear it about her freaking waffles and back in Rupp Arena, and we've seen and we've seen what's happened to, you didn't make your tortillas. The man put canned beans in an empanada, and the punchline is Padma in the final deliberation was like, and those beans, like, it was canned beans.
Hey,
it's unacceptable. Hey. Now you could argue
if he mentioned that.
I mean, that's the question. But who would even? Can you imagine being a Top Chef judge? Would you even check the work? Would you ever assume that any Top Chef finale contestant would ever dare use canned beans? Like,
there's no way.
It's disqualifying. I'm sorry. It's like.
Do you think they knew? Do you think they knew?
No, they didn't know. And now you could argue, hey, if they didn't know, they didn't know. Like, hey, it's only a crime if you get caught, or it's only a crime if it actually affects the taste. That the reason Sara gets knocked for her waffles is not
it. Wasn't like, how did you? Yeah.
Right. So you can argue, the reason that Sara gets knocked for her waffles is not because she used waffle from a box. It's because they weren't good, and they weren't good because they were from a box. If he does nail the dish, which he clearly did, does it matter? I mean, that is an interesting philosophical debate we don't have time to have here right now. But, like, as far as I'm concerned, that's disqualifying. Obviously, though, it's not as disqualifying as undercooked livers. So am I correct that the pretty easy number 2 course is Buddha 1 for his lobster, Gabri 2 for his canned bean and sweet potato empanada, and 3 Sara for her raw liver, unfortunately, and such a shame, because it also looks like a great dish too, and it would have been great. But
I have that. And what
do you have for 3, man?
For 3, I've got Sarah winning again. The reviews were outrageous. They were so impressed by the burgoo, just elevating what seems like a backcountry stew and making it, I think, into, if it wasn't Tom Colicchio's favorite dish of the day, it was right up there. The words were spectacular, fantastic, right up there with Buddha, which as a technician, each one of his 4 dishes were just absolute art pieces in a museum. Like, you cannot look at what Buddha produced in any of these rounds and say, that's not a beautiful, immaculate plate of food. The molds, yeah, it's a little bit of a gimmick at this point, like all the molds that he brought, but you can't say that he didn't use them effectively. That butterfly crust that he used on the first dish, and then the third dish was, like the art pieces that he created this season, he really outdid himself in this one. And so technically, I think his dish, the lamb with the roasted eggplant and the lamb croqueta with the little lollipop there, really refined. It's like a tie for me, Sarah and this dish. I don't know. I scored it Sarah, but I could be swayed.
Yeah, I think this is one where if you do subscribe to the, hey, they sort of made it closer than it might have appeared, where there was sort of, it's interesting. The few comments about Buddha's dish were glowing. Padma calls the sauce, the lo shui sauce, luscious. Like Marcus Samuelsson saying, it's crispy where you want it crispy. It's tender where you want it tender. Like it's clear that was one of the great dishes of all time. And yet it did seem, I think Sarah took a greater risk and just executed something so just delightfully creative. And to me, the burgoo, and which I did have ranked 1 by a hair, but a very, very fine hair. Right, by a rabbit. It's just, but like Kentucky cassoulet, like it did embody her thing. And again, and I've said this about Sarah before, she does the aw shucks, I'm not a terribly refined cook thing. I'm sorry. There is really accomplished technicalities in that dish. When you look at the boudin, like making a boudin blanc, which is, a white French sausage, a very particular thing. I mean, Tom was just floored. That is, I mean, I'm sorry. I know it's a sausage, so technically there's nothing really refined about a sausage, but it's certainly technical, if not refined. The roulade is a real thing. The crepinette is like, she's making sausage. She's stuffing,
rabbit loins with the kidneys. Like, come on with that.
That's serious business in the casing. And then just the sheer whimsy of, hey, take this cornbread and crumple it up onto the beans. But I do think that was one of those cases where, like, the burgoo gets it on novelty, but clearly what Buddha did with his lamb loin was insane. And meanwhile, the chili's in nogada, which is, you stuff a poblano pepper with ground beef and dried fruit. You have this nut sauce, these pomegranate seeds. A third and there were diners at that table who clearly were just enraptured with the whole procession of Gabri's meal. And yeah, it was unusual. I did feel like, and I really feel for Gabri because it did feel like an away game for them. Like, on the other hand, you could say, hey, stuffing the poblano with ground beef rather than sort of really kind of, I think this third course to me speaks to a great, and I think it might be the reason Buddha won. And I think it's something we're talking about is when I'm watching the finale, it is very clear Tom Colicchio is not going to hand a Top Chef title to someone who doesn't just display real technicality and refinement. At the end of the day, when he's having that debate at the judges' table where it's like, look, it's not about trying to project where a chef of somewhat competent refinement will become when he or she is fully realized. It is about what they did today. And at the end of the day, like, I think there is, when you listen to Colicchio, even his critique of the dessert, which we'll go about, and I even think, Padma's clearly on this same page, and I think Gail is too, that, look, we are going, refinement and tweezeriness there's been a backlash, and probably rightly so, because there was probably a little bit too much of it 10, 15 years ago in the food movement. But we ain't giving this title to someone who can't show us some stuff that has a wow factor. And that wow factor very much is displayed through refinement, through technicality, through just sheer just spectacle and plating and everything else. Like this should feel like a meal that couldn't have been made in a home kitchen.
I feel for Gabri for another reason. I think that he had a deserving championship meal here. Like I think in any other season, I think he has a better than 50% chance of winning with his menu. They all loved his food. We've criticized the idea of using canned beans. And I think Tom pointed out, like, you're using ground beef in your finale. Okay. You're using the humble ingredients that you're using. He gives almost like a backhanded compliment. I sensed a little bit of like, it was a backhanded compliment where he said, you know, Gabri, you just amaze me. You take these humble ingredients and then you build them up and it's just delicious. It's wild, he called it.
Right, but Tom, it's not humble chef, it's top chef. And I think that, and exactly. I want to celebrate, right? And I want to celebrate this for a while. I'm all for honoring rustic and homey food, okay? But ground sirloin, it's like, I do think that there's something to be said for, hey, we can also honor, like, I want to watch... Hey, Tom, there are probably 17 basketball metaphors available to us right now where, I love to see people play the right way and make like, at the end of the day, I also want to see like LeBron James do LeBron James things, right? Like I do.
Yes.
And I think that it was a backhanded compliment and it might've been warranted. Again, it's like ground sirloin is ground sirloin, and at the end of the day, are you doing ground sirloin or are you doing what Buddha did with that lamb? Or are you doing what Sara did with that rabbit, which is really, ground beef. There's a reason ground beef is ground beef. And there's a reason Sloppy Joe's is made with ground beef and not lamb, right? Although that would be.
But it was inventive. Like give Gabri his flowers here. Is that like he did something that you don't often see with these chefs. Or these judges, they'd never seen anything like this before. Gabri coming in from a Mexican background and producing at this dinner some things that they couldn't even conceive of is such a testament to Gabri's innovation and creativity that, they could describe something as wild and still love it. So, which brings us to the dessert. Sara's pea cake with the lemon sorbet was an absolute home run. It was to me the one that would have clinched it. This dish right here made me consider, did that just make up for the liver? Did this dish that she elevated English peas, and I love the British guy who was like, and what she did with the English pea and the way he pronounced it was just so perfect because it was a stunner. It was an absolute stunner. Padma's favorite dish of the night. And Tom was blown away by it. And yet over there, Buddha also does this immaculate, like floral coconut chocolate that Gail was just swooning over. And still, I thought Sara's was so good that I considered that might have equalized the negative of that liver. It wasn't enough. Even though it was just a mind-blowing dish. And yes, you could make an argument that we're just taking Gabri to task for the ground beef, and now we're praising Sara for doing an English pea, but she nailed it in a way that she developed the flavors a little bit more. She surprised the chefs. And I think what Sara does so well in this competition on Top Chef, she has a great story and a narrative talking about her mother and the pastry, how she was running the pastry at her restaurant, and you could feel it. And the different judges loved that about this dish also. So I actually score this, Kevin, and I'd love to hear what you thought about your round 4. Sara won 1, she won 3, and she won 4. And to me, I have just on the pure 1, 2, 3 scoring system, I have Sara winning it. But of course, that 3 in the second round is more like a 4 or a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, it's a disqualifier, right? Like she edged out Buddha in 3 of the 4 rounds, and yet lost mightily in the second. And again, there's certain disqualifiers.
So heartbreaking, man. Think about that. You beat Buddha 3 out of 4. Oh. Yeah. But that's what happens in the NBA too. You could win 3 games in the finals by a bazillion points. Doesn't matter. I love the look of Gabri's dessert. I thought the chocolate tamale hazelnut filling, and I don't want it to go unmentioned with the hazelnut goat cheese ice cream. I love like a kind of that cheesy pungent ice cream. I do want to give it. Apparently, it was soft on soft on soft, which was Tom Colicchio's criticism. But I do want to say that, like, I got to tell you, that looked fantastic, and again, just kind of beautifully wrapped up a meal. And because I don't want to, I also
the chili is in Nagata. Yeah, the ground beef is ground beef, and it didn't rise to the level of what somebody like Calicchio expects. But I feel like I've been a little hard on Gabri's meal, which actually just looked fantastic. And I think you're right. I think that could win in the majority of seasons.
Yeah. So Buddha, you also have as a second place finish in the round in the dessert.
Yeah, and again, I think the number 3. I think it is truly neck and neck. I think in 3 and to some extent 1. Like I do think the margins were just really thin. There were margins. There were enough that I think had she nailed her liver, she wins this thing. But I also think that we I
don't even think she needs to nail it. I think she just has like a pretty good dish in the second round. I think she wins.
Yeah.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Kindred. Now close your eyes like Owen Wilson during a job interview and imagine a way to travel that feels personal, comfortable, and connected without the price tags and the sterile feelings of hotels or short-term rentals. Now open your eyes and stop using your imagination because Kindred has made it very real. That's exactly what they do. Kindred is a members-only home swapping network. It's not a hotel. It's not a short-term rental. It's a smarter way to travel where each stay feels like home. Here's how it works. With Kindred, your home is your ticket. You earn credits by hosting fellow Kindred members, and then you use those credits to stay in over 220,000 homes in more than 100 cities worldwide. There are no hotel costs or rental fees, just the credits that you've earned. Every stay comes with white glove service, 24/7 trip support, and $100,000 in host protection. Make it easier for you to travel and enjoy yourself and not worry about details. I've used Kindred and I found an amazing home for a weekend getaway in an idyllic location with amazing views and great ambiance. It had everything I needed. And the best part was, it cost me $0. So apply now at livekindred.com and use code DINGS to join for free. Plus, you'll earn 5 nights of travel credit just for signing up. That's right, that's 5 whole nights for free at livekindred, KINDRED.com, code DINGS, DINGS, livekindred.com, code DINGS.
Listener, listen up. This is important, okay? I'm going to try to save you some money here. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. You may think like, oh, that's bad. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Here's why I said yes to making the switch and getting premium wireless for $15 a month. You heard that correctly. $15 per month. Ditch overpriced wireless and the jaw-dropping monthly bills. And of course, there are all these hidden fees and stuff, but at Mint Mobile, plans start at $15 per month. All the plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text. You're not doing like weekend and nighttime minutes or anything like that. And it's delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone. Don't have to get a new phone. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all of your existing contacts. I switched months ago. People have asked, did you actually switch? Yes, I actually switched months ago. And I don't know what to do with all this extra money. I've cheated the system here. I've rigged something. This is an Ocean's 11 situation where I'm stealing wireless from Mint. That's how good a deal it is. Ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/dings. That's DINGS. That's mintmobile.com/dings. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 per month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details.
Hello, listener. It's producer Maze here to talk to you about Quince and their cookware. Cooler nights mean cozy meals at home, and Quince's cookware has made fall cooking so much more enjoyable. Their pieces deliver the quality and performance of luxury brands, but at a price that makes sense. And they look gorgeous on the stovetop, too. No matter what item you need to complete your kitchen, Quince has you covered. With 5-ply stainless steel pots and pans, nonstick skillets, chef-quality knives, and even ceramic bakeware, which is perfect for cozy casseroles or Sunday roasts. And when you look at these prices, you might think, how is Quince doing this? How do they deliver high-quality items similar to high-end brands that are half the price? Well, let me tell you, they partner directly with ethical top-tier factories to cut out the middlemen and pass the savings on to you. And it's not just cookware. I got myself some bath sheets. That's right. When you're a tall man, you have to use bath sheets, not bath towels from Quince. It's like drying off with the cloud. It's incredible. Upgrade your kitchen for cozy fall meals with premium cookware from Quince. Go to quince.com/dings for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/dings, DINGS, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dings.
I'm always looking for ways to show my cat how much I love her. And with Fancy Feast gems, I can pamper her whenever I want with a savory gravy on top of a gourmet mousse pâté. The pyramid shape makes serving simple, so all I have to do is peel and plate to make mealtime feel extra fancy. And with 2 entrees in every pack, it's easy to turn every day into the extraordinary. Fancy Feast gems.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
We are now joined by Top Chef Season 20 World All-Star finalists, Sara Bradley, and our champion, Buddha Lo. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Pack Your Knives. We made it to the finale, and we finally got you guys on together. Congratulations, Buddha. This is quite an achievement. You're so very likable in your dominance and your ruthlessness on this show, and I just want to give hats off to you. You won back-to-back seasons, and you were confident, and you were not arrogant, but you knew that this is your dream, and you did it in a way that I think was very adorable, and we loved watching you do it. So congratulations, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
I don't know where to begin exactly, but I think the biggest story out of this last night's episode is the liver, because to me, this was the thing that swayed for Kevin and I. We basically had you guys tied in our scoring card, like basically tied in the point system, I could make an argument that Buddha won the first course, the third course, or the fourth course, but I have it scored as Sara winning the first, third, and fourth by like a hair, but I could be swayed either way, and it really comes down to that second round. So yes, Buddha, that was an amazing performance, but I think it all hinges on that second course. Sara, I don't know how to ask it, but like, are you still haunted by that?
Does that liver keep you up at night? Does the liver keep you up at night? Do you have nightmares of liver, like jumping over fences in your sleep?
For months now, I'll just be sitting on the couch and I'll like look over at my husband and he'll look back at me and we'll both just like harmoniously say, "Fucking liver." Like really, like it's the liver. You know, that was a hard one because that liver was like plan G. You know, that was like not how that dish was supposed to play out. And I beat myself up over that specifically because I didn't have to do liver and onions. Like that wasn't the dish. I literally was at a grocery store and could have purchased anything I wanted, but I just, for some reason, got tied into it and then like couldn't allow myself to like deviate. And I think that's what happened.
I was actually surprised that you couldn't find sweetbreads in Paris. It just seems like they do offal, like they do organ meats, right? Like I was sort of, and I'm wondering, hey, if there were sweetbreads, given just sort of you probably don't even have that issue as much. I mean, you still obviously have to cook straight through, but they're much more forgiving.
So sweetbreads weren't the original either. I don't really know. I don't really know why it didn't make the edit, but the original dish was with foie. So like foie gras, like it loves Banyuls vinegar. There was like Banyuls vinegar in the cookie butter, and it like loves sweet things. And the original dish was supposed to be liver and onions. It was like foie, onion soubise, cookie butter, cherries, or grapes. Like it was a whole different dish. But from what I understand, to get whole lobes of foie, you have to go to a special store. All the other stores sell like terrine and stuff, or like Fourchon, but they don't sell like raw lobes. And so I just didn't have access to them. So yeah, it's all right.
Buddha, you're at the judges table and you hear about the blue liver. Did you have a moment of like, I don't care about anyone else's dish. I just want to hear about my dish. Cause like, it just seems like in that moment you might've seen like an opening, like, oh, okay, I had to beat Sara and I had to beat Gabri. This is my chance. This is my opportunity. The door is open.
Yeah, there's an opening for sure, but it's still the second course. There's 2 other courses to be judged on. They could have a absolute, hate for both of my dishes or Gabri's dishes. It could have gone either way. So realistically, yeah, you can hear that sort of comment, but you're just waiting for the other dishes. Like those deliberations that they talk in front of us can take about an hour and a half. So you're just constantly waiting to hear like what you stuffed up, and it could be. It's still anyone's game at that point. It's just we haven't heard any of the feedback. It's only the second course, so I was just hoping that I didn't get dinged anything later on.
When did you originate? This is a question for both of you, Buddha first. In terms of your menu, I mean, you've got to know, hey, my goal is to go to the finale. You know that the finale is typically open-ended as a 4-course meal. When did you start conceiving? Was it 5 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? Was it the moment? But I have to know, knowing both of you, that especially both of you kind of running restaurants, you've got to kind of know, even when you get on that plane, when you're putting together your molds or whatever you're bringing with you, you got your book, Sara. Like, do y'all know your menu weeks in advance? Did you know what you wanted to do for the finale? Or was it informed by some of the challenges and the themes that emerge over the course of the season?
So we get told early on, not early on, but like even before we went to Paris, like start thinking about your finale menu because they need a special order ingredients. You get up to 5 ingredients that you can special order for your final finale meal. I couldn't get any of my ingredients because most of them were in the US and they had trouble getting them in. I only could get caviar, which was in Paris. Even Gabri was like struggling to get grasshoppers in. That had to get flown in, especially from Mexico. So it's very hard to try and construct your menu when you don't know exactly what you can get, and you have specialty ingredients as well. So. But the menu was conceptualized probably, I would say maybe an episode before. It wasn't 5 years ago. I'm sorry to say, but this is because along the way there is always these tricks that you have, but as the challenges go on, you use up those tricks. And just like Demar said in the Houston round, he said that he was saving up for the finale, and I've just done 2 consecutive seasons back to back. So my repertoire and my dishes, it's starting to get slim pickings by the end of it. And trying to tie that into the cultural background as well was also extremely hard.
Yes. Sara, how about you?
Yeah. So I think I mean, and that's something, that I think probably, benefited me, was that I also, like Buddha, knew that I would need to, before we left London, if I had made it that far, they were going to want a list of me from like certain ingredients, special items, special serving vessels, things like that, anything we needed. But, I knew that if I made it, we were going to France. Like when we left, they were like, okay, you're going to be in London, then you're going to be in France. Like, this is what you can tell your family, So I knew, so I started thinking about like, just what are these, like, how does French food connect to the food I cook, which is pretty easy since I cook a lot of like Creole style food. And so I just kind of pulled different ideas, and I wanted like the liver and onions to be kind of this like Jewish thing that I grew up eating. And, I'd same way with Buddha, like you take kind of all these personal things and you have to figure out how to present yourself in one 4-course meal. And so, yeah, I didn't have it totally set, but I had some ideas coming in.
Buddha, how many molds did you use?
I used 2. No, 3.
2. You said the butterfly and then like the little rose
and the rose, yeah. And then I had some like tree bark looking shape molds as well. But yeah, it's like back to that question is like I actually wanted to do a Wellington as my main course, but that didn't work out because I just did 3. So that's, you know, if you kind of like take those samples of what you would put into your finale menu, you know, those sort of things just start canceling them out. Yeah.
They showed that you guys woke up at like 5:47 in the morning on the final cook day. And I'm wondering, did you guys get any sleep that night heading into your final cook? You've done Top Chef before, so maybe this isn't as nerve-wracking as it might be as your first go around, but how was that, the butterflies going into that final cook?
I mean, I think I don't think we actually like wrapped the day until probably later in the evening. And then Buddha and Gabri and I ordered a ridiculous amount of sushi. We sat in the hotel room and ate that. And then I think I tried to go to bed, and I don't think I really fell asleep well. I think I rewrote my prep list a couple times, and I just kind of laid around thinking. It's like when you have to catch an airplane at like 4 a.m, it's like you can't wait. Like, they're coming for you. And so you just can't relax.
Yeah, when it comes to sleeping, I sleep like a rock. I can sleep anywhere. So but I also know how important it is to make sure that I just get a lot of rest, because it's such a hard competition. And if you don't get your sleep, then you're not going to perform well. So I really needed to make sure that I performed.
So I had a thought here on the Amar and Sara tandem. I think some people would say, hey, Sara, you had first pick and you picked the guy that you undercooked your protein previously, and then you undercooked your protein in the finale. And I don't think that's fair. I think there's a lot that goes into choosing a sous chef. But I wanted to ask you, Sara, if you could explain your thinking on the draft and whether you wanted the first pick, or were you just like, I'll take whoever I can get?
No, I mean, so I'll tell you something that happened a long time ago in my season. When the one time that I was the first person to draw the knife, I got like the absolute worst thing. And so I'm like a very superstitious person. And so from that moment on, I've always been like the last person. I will like let everybody else pull, and like, then I'll get my hand in there and grab something. And so I did it again, got third, or got first choice. And I just felt like not only, I felt like Amar and our styles were probably the most cohesive. Like, I knew that he knew all of the big, bold flavors. And I also knew that he, of all those people standing over there, had the most Top Chef experience that was similar to mine. So he was going to understand what it was to put up the 4-course meal of your life, because he had done it. And he had judged people. And Amar is just a really, really amazing cook, chef, all of those things. So that was my first choice. Plus, I kind of thought Buddha wanted Ali, and I kind of thought Gabri wanted Tom, and like, just let everybody cook their best meal, instead of like doing something kind of like sneaky, just like let everybody get what they want and do their best.
Yeah, Buddha, in terms of picking sous chefs in general, I think to the untrained eye, it might be, hey, you just go with the best. If the person is the most advanced competitor in Top Chef elimination challenges, then they're the best bet. But I have to imagine there are actually factors when you are a professional chef that you look for in a sous chef. You might pick a different person to be your sous chef than you would to be your partner in an elimination challenge. Like, it's a different skill set, right? Like, it's like, what are you looking for in a sous chef?
Well, to be honest, the remaining chefs that were available, they're all perfect for sous chefs. They're like all. I've worked with all of them. I've worked with Tom and Ali in the soccer challenge. I worked with Gabri in the Wellington challenge. I mean, sorry, he wasn't a sous chef. I worked with Amar in Restaurant Wars, and I loved working with all of them as a team. So there was no real first pick of who. If I was happy to take any of them, but the qualities are, are they willing to just listen and see your vision and try and control it? I think that a lot of the stuff that I do, I like to make sure that I taste and make sure that it's correctly done. And I wouldn't get them to do tasks that they don't really know. So for any of the pastry stuff, I just got myself to do it instead of Ali. It's too hard to tell him to just go bake a cake, but he's done amazing lamb braises before, so I got him onto the master stock braised lamb straight away, and I know that he can do that sort of stuff. So it's all about knowing their strengths and what they can do.
KYP, as they say in basketball, know your personnel. That is a man who works with lamb. Question for each of you. Hypothetical. I'm a contestant on season 21 Top Chef, and I call you up and say, hey, give me something specific about Tom, Padma, and Gail as judges. Like, what are their biases? Where do you impress them? What do you stay away from? Where are the ways into the winner's circle for each of these chefs? Like, don't do this, do that. I'm just curious, can you now, after 2 seasons, appraise them and say, hey, Tom's going to reward this. He will definitely punish that in a different way than Padma.
No okra for Tom. No okra for Tom.
But beyond just saying no okra, no, whether it's a cilantro fear or okra, or hey, be careful with Indian food with Padma. Like, are there and the reason that I asked this question is what was very interesting to me is it is clear that in the finale, Tom wants to reward refinement and technique. Like, it is something that he thinks is important, and it came through kind of in the judges' debate last night. I'm just wondering, now that you both have done this twice, like, are there, if you were advising someone, hey, if you want Padma's vote, this is what you do. If you want Tom's vote, this is what you do. These are instincts you need to follow.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting question. And you know what? I think that I didn't really realize it until I started hearing this from Amar and Sarah. And Amar and Sarah would say it all the time. And yeah, it's funny that those are the two things that, that ended up with Sarah, getting eliminated and coming short of the finale, is that it's the protein. I'd never really, they said it all the time, but it just became more apparent every time they kept on saying it. And it's all about nailing your protein. And it made a lot more sense looking into it and realizing that if you're going to say this is a steak with vegetables, the steak is your main component. So if you don't cook it correctly, then they can't even go from there. And I think that's something that everyone should realize. If you're going to be your main component, you've just got to nail it, whether it be a carrot or an onion. That's what they're looking for. All the garnishes you can kind of get away with. They don't like it. That's my little tip for someone in 21.
I mean, I agree.
Sarah actually taught me.
Yeah, I know. I was like, you have to nail your protein or else you're going fucking home. But
and that's exactly what you'll say every challenge.
I know. And it's crazy because like I've now been on like the winning and losing end of like I've been kept around because maybe I was in the bottom, but somebody else like totally screwed up their protein. And so I got to stay around, or like now, like I've see it again here. But I also think that like, that is, I think, kind of just the most basic concept to take into Top Chef is to properly cook your proteins. But I think that for me, like Tom, he likes nuanced things, but I think he likes like big, bold, aggressively seasoned. I think he likes that. He doesn't mind a big portion. He doesn't mind anything. Like he wants like delicious food to his core. That also includes technique. I think that Gail loves when you are able to like emotionally connect to the story. I think that she is someone who has a very emotional involvement with food. And I think that she really loves that. Like when she sees you connect to it. And the new judge,
she's a writer. She's a writer, and writers love narrative. Tom and Padma, bless their hearts, not writers. And Gail is somebody who's always going to respond to narrative in the way that writers do.
And I don't know that. I mean, the new judge, what do you tell him? You can't tell him what Padma likes because Padma's gone. She's not the judge anymore. You're going to have this new judge.
That's true.
And no one is going to know what in the world they like. It's going to be 21 is going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy.
Wait. We're not moving to 21 yet, Sarah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
Well, I know 21 is gonna be crazy, but what I want to zoom in on is, and I hate to beat a dead horse here, but Tom Colicchio confirmed on Twitter, Sarah, that if you had cooked your protein, you would have won Top Chef. And I'm asking, one, how do you receive that? Are you angry? Are you happy? What emotion do you experience when you read that text from Tom Colicchio? And secondly, I don't think we've gotten the breakdown. What went wrong? Like, how did you undercook the liver?
It's hard because, like, you don't want to, like, I appreciate it. Like, I appreciate that validation, and I've needed that for a long time because there's been a little bit of my heart that has been broken by this liver. But, like, I'm glad that he said that. And I kind of felt that, but it doesn't matter. If you have 3 of the 4 dishes are the best, it's not the best meal. And Buddha was able to put up the best, like, cohesively meal, do I want to go and have a delicious tasting menu all the way through? Yes. What sticks out to me at the one tasting menu I have is, like, if one dish is so bad, it's almost, inedible. So I'm glad that Tom confirmed that. What happened? Fuck. Well, what happened is, so I couldn't get foie gras, and then I couldn't get sweetbreads. And we found some, like, kidneys. And, we just, like, kind of kept whittling it down. Like, I was thinking maybe we can get squab, maybe we can get everything. We just couldn't find enough of anything to serve 13 people what we wanted. And so we found calf's liver. But, I've replayed that dish in my head. And I had this idea to switch it up. I wanted to do, like, salt baked onions, and I was going to salt bake them upside down and cover, like, a huge piece of torchon, like, on it. So the foie fat would, like, cook down into it, and it still would have been liver and onions. And I still could have made, like, the foie fat cookie butter. I still could have done the whole thing. But I think it was just my inability to pivot is really what happened. Like, I don't mean this in any bad way, but, like, I feel like I beat myself in this one, like Buddha outcooked me that day because I couldn't let myself pivot. That's the only word I can think for of it.
So on the edit, though, it made it seem like Amar had asked you, like, hey, do you want to start slicing? And then you were like, hold on, wait, let's do the figs. Let's do everything. We'll wait on that. So what happened there?
Okay, so the way it works, so, like, Buddha, Gabri, and I, we all had to, like, where we were serving the food, we all had to run upstairs. So we run upstairs, we serve our plates. And then literally when they say, okay, you can go back down, we all take about 5 steps slowly to the door. And then as soon as we're out of the sight of the judges, like, I could not keep up with Buddha and Gabri. They were, like, flying down the stairs to get back into the kitchen. We run back in there, and we had seared the liver already, and Amar had it in the oven. We took it out, and it felt raw, or it felt under, but I was, like, thinking it still needs to rest before we carve it. Maybe it'll have enough carryover. And I should have just hacked one in the middle. There's so many things I could have done. I could have trimmed all the seared pieces off and touched them all on the plancha. Like, I could have done a billion things, but I guess I just didn't. I just ate shit on that one. As Buddha would say, I stuffed it up.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it?
Definitely stuffed it up.
Stuffed it up, yeah.
Yeah. So both of you will inevitably be asked to be judges, a guest judge. Please welcome to the Top Chef Kitchen. Okay, whether it's season 21, 22, 23. I imagine you're looking forward to that. It's going to be a blast for you to be on the other side of or maybe not. Do you have a challenge in mind if you were asked to sort of design the challenge, quick fire or elimination that you were going to judge? Anything in mind?
Yeah, Buddha, I feel like, has already worked up like 5 different ones.
Yeah.
Well, it's very hard to concept. Like, I don't even want to be in that position. T does such an amazing job with a team creating all these challenges. It just blows my mind when she mentioned that we're going to do 3 Wellingtons in 3 hours. I said, you guys are you guys are pulling, that's impossible. And, like, they actually kind of, T not even being a chef, she can actually pull that off and say, no, it is possible. And funny enough, it was. But I would say if I was to choose one just at the top of my head that I would love to be a guest judge of, is Restaurant Wars. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Restaurant Wars would be great. I think it's hard for me to say like, oh, this would be a challenge that would be so cool, because they are so they're just so unique to the actual location of like what's taking place. So it's hard to say like, oh, it would be great to have like, I guess you could do like a VRBO challenge anywhere. You could pick that up and put it down, cook for everyone, cook a family meal close to you. But I love the ones that are like, have a lot of constraints on them. Like you have to fit this story, you have to fit these emotions into this thing. And those are the ones that I love. And those are the ones that I usually do pretty well with. So I don't know. But Restaurant Wars would be awesome too. Restaurant Wars would be awesome.
Buddha, when you're watching this finale on Thursday night, was there anything in the edit as you're watching that stood out to you that you're like, oh, I didn't realize that happened, or oh, I forgot that happened? Was there anything that you saw that stuck with you as you're watching?
I don't know. The only thing that really stood out to me was that little funny conversation about Gabri saying that I can consider you now my friends, and I said I've been waiting 2 months for that. I kind of had
I loved that.
A bit of a chuckle to that. But that's probably the first thing that came to my mind.
The verdict. Yeah, Sarah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say this is like a behind the scenes for you guys. So Buddha and I almost both got screwed over on something. So we had a bunch of canisters for the Paco Jet, which if you don't know what a Paco Jet is, it's like a Ninja creamy type thing. So we put we make our bases, we put our canisters in to freeze. We come back the next day, they're like liquid. They never froze. They I don't know if maybe they weren't in the right freezer, or the freezer was a refrigerator. We don't know what happened.
Yeah, the freezer was a refrigerator.
Yeah, that's what they told us. They were like, put them all in this one right here. It's a freezer. So we were like, all right, cool. We come back the next day, nothing's frozen. So they got out these like, like Cuisinart, like, the churners. And we knew that was going to take a good amount of time. So Buddha and I got ours in right away. And I think it took Gabri a little bit longer to realize maybe that his ice cream base hadn't set up, or it was later on that he started his ice cream. And so, ours were like set and hard. And I think he was like, that was one of the things he was struggling with. But that's the thing, like the equipment failures, that is really what happens a lot in Top Chef. There are a lot of equipment failures, not always by Top Chef's fault,
And I think
one of the things,
yeah. And
go ahead,
in this,
no, go ahead.
in like you can see that we struggled for ingredients this time around. Like even for myself, like even just trying to get veal bones or live scallops, or just like even you saw, I went into a seafood market and there's only cooked lobster. It was kind of just weird, but we were actually able to go to this other market called the Bastille Market. But the thing is that place shut a little earlier, and we'll probably only have 15 minutes. And the traffic in Paris is horrendous. So if we had gone to that market, me and Gabri went there the day after the finale, and it was like chef heaven. There was so many beautiful produce that you could just get there.
You're just like,
yeah.
It is so funny when you start traveling the world, as y'all have done, like, is the American supermarket we just kind of take for granted as Americans. My sister moved to London 15 years ago. And one of her favorite things to come when she comes to the States once a year, one big trip a year in the summer. And one of the things she loves doing is certainly outside of Manhattan, which also has more European in terms of those little narrow supermarkets. They don't have everything. It's like she just loves going to a big, massive American supermarket. Like she wants to be on the cereal aisle where everything that General Mills has ever produced is available. She wants to be on the aisle where
17 different types of Kicks. Yes.
Right. Like I want an entire like hall of condiments, not just and it is funny, and it because you go to Paris, even though it is this culinary capital, right? Like America, we get so spoiled in the US. It's just like our supermarkets are just embarrassments of just gluttony and riches and every possible thing that you can imagine. And it just doesn't work that way in the rest of the world, and probably for a good reason, but it is just funny.
So I wanted to ask, it got a little dusty in my house when Padma was getting emotional talking to you guys last night on the finale. And when she just said, "I'm so proud of you." And even the way that she like described your liver dish, not to keep going back to it, I'm sorry, Sarah, but when she held her hands over her heart and almost like the most like bedside manner, like a motherly, like, I have to be honest, mine was blue. And it just like the way that she has so much, compassion in the way that she works and delivers. It could be a very superficial, gimmicky job as being the host of a reality TV show, but she does it with so much feeling and emotion to it. And then when she says to you guys, like, "I'm so proud of you," and you could see the tears in her eyes and her eyes welling up. And I could tell that it was affecting for you chefs as well. So Buddha and Sara, just put us back in that room. Did you get the sense that this was a finale of finales? Because it certainly felt that way to us, that maybe Padma knew at that moment that this might have been the last one. On the rewatch, you lived it, but on the rewatch, did it change the way you felt about it?
I'm not entirely sure at that moment, but in that moment when she said that she was proud of us, I felt like, she was like Mama Padma, she was a proud mom, and just looking at us, how far we've came, and she's obviously seen, both Sarah and I's seasons and how far we've grown. And I think just being in that sort of world stage with all these great judges and just being able to impress them all was like a real moment for her. And now looking at it, I'm not sure if it's the fact that she knew that she was going at that point. I have no idea, but that's the way I took it.
I seem to think that she probably knew she was going. I mean, I think that she probably did, and that's why it was so emotional. But I think also, like, she knows it's the last time she's sitting at that table. And I think what's so wonderful about Padma and Tom and Gail is that, and I'm proud to share it, but I feel like they have like a sense of, and not in a bad way, you guys, but like a sense of ownership for every chef that's come through there. Like, they get to see our businesses and they get to see us do prosperous and do well, and they get to see us grow. And so I think that they feel a little bit of that, like a parent, watching your child grow up. You see that. And with Buddha and I, there were two people there that they'd seen that happen, over an extended period of time. So, And it's okay to cry, you guys. Yeah. It's okay to cry.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and that was always that was sort of my interpretation is, and we talked about it on the show, is that it does sort of produce an entire diaspora, an entire community of chefs, right? Like, you are right. Like, they see, it's funny. I next time we talk to, if we're lucky enough to talk to Tom again on the thing, is I imagine you sign up to be a host of a food competition show. You think you sign up to be a host of a competition show, right? You don't imagine that, 20 years in, they're going to be basically several dozen renowned chefs who owe sincerely some part of their success to an experience you facilitated, right? Like, and that's got to be emotional. I mean, it's they do kind of see y'all, and it is funny because now Padma is a woman, is a middle-aged woman, and there is, it's funny, Padma of 2023 is much more maternal than the Padma of or the Padma of like 2005. Like, she just is. Like, there is a more, there's a softer edge, and I do think it comes from the fact that this show, and I suppose Runway could argue they have a case for, hey, designers can come in and then they're part of the sort of larger Runway, sort of world, but not like this. This is really community oriented, and it is clearly a source of sentiment for them that they probably didn't even bank on when they signed up for this gig.
I mean, yes. Do you think Tom, when he was like, yeah, I'll be the judge on this competition cooking show. Well, now there's like, I mean, it's all over the world. Like they're like the, the mamas and the papas of the entire Top Chef worldwide franchise. Like they're the beginning of it. He's been there since day one. I don't think you ever could imagine. I couldn't ever imagine doing something that big. So it probably hit that, that someone who'd been a part of it from the beginning was leaving.
Yeah, that's what's so beautiful about it. It's just like a full circle. See that, they came to 20 seasons, and through those 20 seasons, all these different iterations all around the world spread out. So, when you talk about those several dozen people that have reaped their successes and have that huge impact of Top Chef in their lives, we're not just talking about the US, we're talking worldwide. We're talking France, we're talking Middle East, we're talking Italy. Everyone that was a part of it, all the winners and finalists that were a part of this season, all owe it to the original season of Top Chef, which Padma was an integral part of. And that's what's so incredible to see, is that she went out by seeing this whole thing that she was a part of, and see it form into this universe and have one more and go out with a bang. So it was incredible to be a part of it.
So I got to ask the question to both of you. I'll start with Buddha. Is this your last Top Chef as Chef Testing?
I don't want it to end, but I don't think I'll be invited back.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, I would love to see the All-Stars finalists back on the show. So a Champions of Champions, where we have Sarah, Gabri, Melissa King, Richard Blaze, all of the All-Star seasons finalists back for one just Royal Rumble of Top Chef. You're telling me right now, Buddha, you would not accept that invitation?
No, I would accept it 100%. But for that to actually happen, it would have already happened if that were the case.
Well, how many All-Star seasons have we had? What, like 3? Is this the third?
I mean, like, this is the first time. This is the first time that we've ever had winners and finalists. I'm the only winner from the US franchise that's ever came back to compete again. And I'm sure if there was more winners that were interested in it, that you would have seen them this season.
Sarah?
Yeah, I think it's it. I mean, I just don't know if I could stand losing again. I don't know if I could take it. I don't think it means I'm done with like competition cooking, because I really do kind of love that rush, and I am a highly competitive person, and I love that it gets documented and I can go back and critique myself later on. Like, I imagine that has to be like when basketball players, record themselves taking 3-pointers all day long, so that like when it actually is time to do it, you don't choke and shoot a raw piece of liver through the hoop. But, it's like, I don't think I could do it again. I just don't think I could take it, but I would be more than happy to judge any day they needed me. Any day.
Yeah, Tom and I are still trying to scam our way into some sort of quick fire judge, like sports writery theme, like, and we will continue to badger various Bravo personnel and Magical Elves personnel on that. But yeah, it is like judging does seem just like kind of a blast. Also, a great day of eating. I mean, that's always the thing. Is I'm amazed. Like, can we start for a second? How do these people finish all that food?
In a corset.
Well, I think the goal is not to finish it all, but if you really enjoy it, you would definitely try to go through it all. You can see Padma at the very first, when she gets that first 15-person quick fire, that she's trying to pace herself really hard. Yeah. But yeah, they're professionals, so they know what they're doing. 20 seasons will do that to you.
Yeah. Sarah, do y'all eat each other's food in the back, especially with all that kind of dead time?
I mean, a little bit. Sometimes maybe like on the rice challenge, or if it's kind of a large challenge where it's not like a particular plated, or, you grab like little Scooby snacks off of the ends of cutting boards and kind of taste. But, I don't know that I've ever tasted like another chef's composed plated dish, because those are either going out to the judges or for, what they call food porn, the beauty shots. We taste each other's stuff. I mean, I always love to taste other people's food while they're cooking. And, I'm always very honest. Like, I think it needs a little salt or it needs a little acid. And I like when other chefs taste mine. And I think it's nice to be collaborative in competition. But no, I don't think I get to taste any of Buddha's food. I tasted a few of Gabri's things, but Buddha and I were on opposite sides of the kitchen. So we were like as far away from each other. Gabri and I were like right next to each other.
Buddha, what's next?
What's next? I keep putting my restaurant on hold. So I want to open up a larger dining space. I currently have a little 12-seater with a induction and an oven. So and there's no ventilation inside the place, and I do all that. But I need a bigger space. The waiting list just keeps getting bigger, and I can't wait to get it signed. We're in the midst of getting it done, and I can't wait for it to happen. And then hopefully the next goal is to get a Michelin star.
You got to have more than an induction. Come on.
I know.
You got to figure it.
No, it's true. And that's why I love the Top Chef kitchen so much. But I put a lot of I put a lot of this on hold because I've literally dedicated, 1 year of Top Chef really out of the last two, in terms of events, doing, being on the show, committing to training and preparing. So yeah, it's taken some time, but it's all worth it at the end.
Sara, what's next for you?
So I'm starting work on a cookbook. Just kind of getting it all together. How just that very beginning part, but I'm really excited for that. So I'm really excited for that. And then I don't know. I kind of just want to see like what the year has to offer. We've talked a lot about opening another restaurant, my family and I. And in this market right now, I'm going to try to, instead of investing all of my time and energy into another restaurant, I'm going to invest some time and energy into myself and see if, I can't like make this the year of yes and figure out how to really capitalize on Top Chef. I mean, you hate to say it like that, but I mean, that's what it is. It is a business. And so try to see if, I can grow myself as a business. So it's kind of fun. I'm excited for it. I'm excited.
I just want to say how much I love that you stayed in Paducah. Harvey Milk was one of the kind of monumental gay rights activists of the late 70s. And I remember there was this kind of famous conversation or monologue he had where, a kid had written him kind of from San Antonio saying, I'm thinking about moving to San Francisco to join the movement. He's like, no, stay there. Right. Like there's more work to be done there. And I just love that as somebody who, again, my partner and I are just total weirdos. Like we go to Fargo, North Dakota for a weekend or Billings, Montana for a weekend because we honestly believe, we love the country, and B, we just think any places is just fantastic. And you just have to find it. But I just love that, you are in Paducah. I love now that when you go across the country, there are just that there are chefs who've just set up beachheads in places where you that might not be on a fancy shopping bag as a city, but and I love that you've stayed there and stayed faithful to it. It's one of the many things I love about your story.
Thank you. I mean, it's so, I've lived in the big cities, and Paducah, man, it's an easy place to live. Life just slows down. The restaurant, nobody's making a reservation after 8:45, and that's, if somebody does, we're like, oh my God, they're here so late. Like, it's so nice, you get to have this like really lovely work-life balance. And I also think it's important, that, but you don't have to be in a big city to do this. Like it's just about delicious food. People will come to eat delicious food no matter where you are. They'll come for it.
That was an amazing finale. You both did an amazing job. Amazing season. Kevin and I kept talking about, I don't know if you listened this year, but we just kept harping on the fact that this was an amazing season of Top Chef. And the quality of the food, the characters on the show, the development of those characters, Victoire, Charbel, the fact that Charbel and Victoire were in a competition with y'all is just, it's so cool. Top Chef really knocked it out of the park this season. And I'll have you know, Buddha, we recorded a little snippet before we had you on. Buddha, you have been anointed onto the Mount Rushmore of Top Chef, according to Pack Your Knives. So congratulations on that.
I'm honored.
It's in pencil. We haven't done. It's an ever growing list, but back-to-back victories on Top Chef. I think that deserves. I deserves that sort of nomination there. So congratulations, Buddha, and to you, Sarah, for kicking ass and being an amazing advocate for women and mothers out there. My wife just continued, not just because you're both Kentucky women, but just all of the things that you were an advocate for on this season of Top Chef. She was like, "Go, Sarah!" And so awesome job by both of you. Thank you so much for joining us on Pack Your Knives. It really is. The meal we had in LA with both of you and Ali and Amar was a career highlight, if you can call this a career. This is a side gig highlight of just we loved meeting you guys, and it really is a testament to the Top Chef franchise that you're just as awesome to meet in person as you are the food on your plate. So that kudos to you guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, you guys.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure listening every Thursday.
Yeah, you guys are pretty great too.
Hey, can you give us our flowers one at a time, please? I just want to hear it.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Sarah, you go first.
I'll just say this.
No, I was kidding. Okay, fine.
No, I'm going to say this because people need to hear this. That I love all the Top Chef podcast and stuff, but I love the way that you guys analyze it. I'm serious. Like it's such a different level. And I think it's gotta be from years of analyzing, NBA. Like here you guys are, it's NBA finals and you guys are taking the time to do a podcast with, a couple chefs from a TV show. Like it's so cool. I just think you guys do a great job, and please don't go the way of Padma and leave us, because I won't know what I'll listen to next season.
Yeah. Okay. That is so true. Yeah, likewise, what Sarah said. Every Thursday after the episode, I always can't wait for the podcast to come out. So it's been a pleasure to be able to do it back-to-back seasons and listen to your breakdown and everything that you guys do. It's been appreciate that you take the time out to do it, and love the passion, love the analyzing and the conversations that you guys have. It's been incredible.
You scared the shit out of Kevin, by the way, Buddha. Early on in this season, we reached out. We're like, "Hey, can you hop on the show?" And you said, "Hey, can we wait until I'm eliminated from the show? Your time is done." What was the verbiage?
I said I'm no longer in a competition.
Yes. And Kevin just texts me on the side. He goes, "Holy shit! Did I just pick number one overall, the biggest bust of all time?"
Your subterfuge was very effective, because the way the diction on the text was suggested that you are at some point eliminated, or the way you said it suggested that you might, you'll be out sooner than later. And it was just like,
well, that's why I didn't want to do the show. Anything could have flipped up, and I didn't want anything to happen. So that's why I decided to wait till the very end of the podcast, that season to come on a podcast.
Well, it was worth the wait.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Appreciate it. See you later.
Sarah, I will see you in Paducah this summer.
Yes, I'm so excited. I've already got stuff planned. Bye, you guys.
Oh my God. I was kidding, Kevin. I didn't want them to compliment us, but it ended up feeling kind of nice to hear.
No, it's look, even being a peripheral part of this world is kind of a thrill. It's a cheap thrill for us, as demonstrated by our fun dinner at Tom Colicchio's Craft with the Top Chef folks. It has been one of the ancillary benefits of doing this is getting to glom on to the glory of Top Chef and get to be kind of a sort of a peanut gallery member of the world.
Now, I know we've kind of waited this long to talk about the blockbuster news of Padma Lakshmi leaving the show. It's if the season ended last night, if the series ended last night, I should say, it was a fitting end. I thought, if you're going to write the script of Top Chef, how it would go out, a World All-Stars where they go to London and Paris, with Padma doing the send-off there and Tom doing the send-off. Last night, it really did feel like an end of things, but it's not. Padma's leaving the show. The show is, by all accounts, continuing on. I could talk about are my favorite moments from Padma in seasons past. But to me, it really is just she's been such a great face for this franchise, is that she's able to bring the food, the culinary chops, the grace and the fun energy, and just the kind of Padma is very much, if there is a face of this franchise, as good as you could have scripted for any show, reality show or not. So it's going to be hard to replace her. I love Champagne Padma, just all those moments where she has clearly had a lot of champagne or a lot to drink. She just gets a lot more just, I don't know, just it's so much fun to watch her over the years. And one thing stood out to me in Lexington when we went to Top Chef Restaurant Wars for the Kentucky season. I don't know if people know this, but she has an earbud in her ear that she's talking to the directors and producers in the back. And she's able to get cues as she's eating and asking certain questions or getting feedback. There's so much to this job of being a host that the audience doesn't get to see. And for Top Chef and for Magical Elves and for the rest of the production crew, there's so much work that Padma does behind the scenes, beyond just looking gorgeous all the time, beyond having the right thing to say all the time. There's certain qualities to being a great host for 19 seasons that I think we just take for granted sometimes, Kevin.
Yeah, she's a traffic cop at that table when you're seeing a scene where there are, 6 guest judges all talking between courses. Oftentimes that conversation is, as you said, cued and prompted by Padma, just to get the sort of level of clarity and the incisiveness that you want in that conversation. I mean, she's a fascinating host because, much has been made. She has, and I say this with affection, kind of turned a little soft this season. And I do think, she's graduating into middle age and she's now a full generation older than some of these chefs. There's the realization that, oh, wow, we're actually sort of spawning an entire generation of chefs who look up to us. I think what she does so well is sort of balance the gravitas with the character, right? Like you want that judge to be intimidating. The show works because there are these wonderful moments that can be played for both comedy and tragedy where the contestants are terrified of Padma. You want the judge to be a little terrifying, and she is intimidating. But she also, and again, it's a Bravo show, so I think you also want it to have the patina of high lifestyle, right? And so to me, like the moment I fell in love with Padma is when she shows up in those aviator Ray-Bans for the Telluride episode in the Colorado season, right? And so she is glamorous, and you want all of those things, and that's hard for a single host to do, right? It is hard to have gravitas and self-deprecation and be high fashion and high lifestyle and be intimidating, but also be nurturing to the point where you do, because it only works if you do dispense affection, right? If she never dispensed affection, then the contestants wouldn't look for it, right? It's because getting the praise from Padma is so affirming. That's what makes it, and she does it. She's rightfully, parsimonious with it, right? Like she doesn't just, she's not like, oh, some of these judges, I watch sometimes like The Voice with Eric, and it's like, oh, they love everything. Like, they're always nice. And Padma, it's not that she's ever, aggressively mean. Of course not. But I do love the fact that you do have to kind of work for it. And she's just been such a great, also ambassador for the show. And, and she knows her food. Tom, I mean, I don't even know how you fill the shoes.
Yeah. I think the moment when she had that like pause in that judge's table describing Sarah's dessert, where Sarah was at once terrified and also hoping to get her approval, is kind of like the distillation of what makes Padma so magical. And you have to have that presence. You have to have someone who knows what they're talking about, but also has the analytical, I don't know if like performance art to it, but she has that. She has all of that to keep you guessing. And I don't know where you get another host. Do they even need another host? We have Gail hosting Top Chef. I think it was Top Chef Amateurs. Tom Colicchio hosting Last Chance Kitchen. could they step in, and who's the replacement for Russell Westbrook? Oh, it's just who's ever coming up off the bench. Like, do you promote someone from within, or do you go outside of the Top Chef family and bring in someone? I think internally, first names that come to mind are Kristen Kitsch. I think Richard Blaze, of course, is always a mainstay. Eric Adjapong, he just hosted with Gail the James Beard Award winner, the James Beard Award ceremony. So I think Eric is also a candidate. And I think when you look, I think Melissa King, Mei Lin, any of the winners, obviously, but someone who has the charisma and the culinary chops to be able to be the host, that's one way. But Kevin, are there any other candidates you're thinking about?
Yeah, I want to nominate and put a major campaign promotional effort toward our colleague and our former colleague and friend Mina Kimes. You've listened to this podcast and you've probably heard Mina. She comes on usually once a season. We always have a blast. Her day job is as an ESPN analyst for the NFL. And the reason I love Mina for this job is multifold. I mean, one is, I think you could argue, Tom, that the greatest competition reality show in the world is the National Football League. And
yes.
Mina has been doing it for the largest sports media conglomerate in the world, in studio, on set, analysis, color. She is a media professional in the ultimate sort of media game. And she is perfectly suited to it in that respect. This is a woman who has 850,000 Twitter followers, I think. So you're talking about someone who already kind of has a presence, understands sort of the art of doing this, both as persona and analyst and everything else. She also is fully steeped in Top Chef lore. She has watched every season. She is a mega fan, and as someone who's dined with her, I mean, has the base knowledge of food that you would want in a judge. I mean, for instance, I'm not crazy about, they use, I think, for Top Chef Family Style, Meghan Trainor, and I don't know that there's any really kind of great food knowledge there. And but Mina does have a baseline knowledge, and so to me, she is a natural. I don't know if Mina wants it. We've had a good laugh about it once or twice, but I think if you're asking for the description of what could fill those shoes, it to me looks a lot like Mina.
Yeah, and Mina has been an amazing person to watch on TV, not just because of her X's and O's and her numerical understanding of the game. She communicates things extremely well. And secondly, she's so much fun to watch. She laughs. She has such a sense of humor about her that you just giggle along with her, and she doesn't take herself too seriously in a way that I think is so magnetic that when you watch Mina Kimes on TV, you feel like you know her, you feel like you could hang out with her, and you feel like she really knows her stuff. And I think all of those traits about Mina, forget the professionalism and the knowledge system that she has, she has this magnetic energy about her that I think would translate seamlessly on Top Chef. Yeah. So we're putting our full chest into this nomination for Top Chef. The replacement for Padma Lakshmi is that we are officially, as Pack Your Knives hosts, I think we are backing Mina Kimes.
Absolutely. I think it would be a great choice. Tom, let's. We have only a few minutes here. We got to wrap up. I think we were in a winner take all situation. Can you brief us on how this played out in the scoring system?
Yeah, we had the biggest trade of Pack Your Knives history last week. I acquired the rights to Gabri, who finished, I think, third in this finale. He, I think, had a shot. A 1-in-3 shot just by the sheer, there's 3 contestants in the finale. And I think he served himself very well, but it didn't ultimately work out in my favor. You are the champion. Second year in a row, I believe, of our fantasy season. You get 25 points for having Buddha on your squad, the number 1 pick. Is that, I don't know if that was the case last year where Buddha fell in our draft, but Kevin, you have the floor. You just accepted your award, your MVP award, your championship. And what would you like to say about your squad?
I mean, Buddha came through. I had a very singular strategy, Tom. I knew there was one contestant there that I could ride, and I picked him first. And I didn't do a very impressive job beyond that, but it was all I needed. And it's a superstar league, I guess is what we're saying, Tom. It's a superstar league, and I got the superstar. And I am now, by virtue of our trade of Gabri, I traded you, Gabri, for your third pick next year, which will now be, if I'm correct, the number 6 overall pick. Right.
It's going to be the number 6 overall pick. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the next season. Always excited for the next season of Top Chef. It can't come soon enough. There is the 16 weeks of Top Chef, or 14, or however many it is, and then there's misery, right? Like there's just waiting around. So I am looking forward to Top Chef season 21. As Sarah said, it is going to be a different ball game, because for the first time since season 1, in the inaugural season of Top Chef, Padma Lakshmi will not be holding down as one of the hosts. But the show kind of has that inertia now. I mean, it is enough of an institution that, as good as Padma is, like, I just think this can go on forever. I mean, the conditions of the show, the architecture of it, you can plug it anywhere, apparently anywhere in the world, at any time, any city. And so long as we keep getting the really creative production, I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
Yeah. The producer, Doneen, who we met again in LA, who's the showrunner for Top Chef, she posted on Instagram that she can't wait for next season, which I had this like sigh of relief of like, okay, there is a next season. Okay. So we're going to have another Top Chef season, and we're going to have another season of Pack Your Knives. We're not going anywhere. It's one of the favorite things in my life, doing this is doing this every week with you during the season. And I also want to give a shout out to our listeners. We had a big bump in listeners this season, and I think part of that is because we figured out a really good schedule working with Bravo and getting this schedule out and getting this episode out every Friday morning, listening to it, getting it out there for our fans. And I just think all the feedback we've gotten over the years, we read everything, and we want to give a shout out to our listeners and shout out to our guests this season. I think there's a couple more people this season that I really want to talk to. Sylvia, first and foremost, love her. We want to get Amara on the show. We'll see what happens in the off season, but I'm just really glad that we were able to get Sara and Buddha on the show, give them their flowers, give them their praise. And I think they're just great characters. They're great people. And it seems like Top Chef will be coming back. Kevin, we've talked about it. You want Atlanta, right? You want season 21 in Atlanta.
I'm ready for Atlanta.
Do you feel confident we're going to Atlanta?
I don't know. I think it'll happen at some point in the coming years. I can't imagine it's going to be too much longer. Also want to give a huge thank to Anthony Mays, our mega producer. I come here with a level of incompetence and idiocy and things technical, and Mays just makes us much, much better than we'd otherwise be. And so I want to thank Mays for all of his tremendous, just being a great producer, making it happen.
I can't believe we got a Bon Appetit award this year, Kevin.
Oh yeah, we got a Bon Appetit mention. That was very cool. That was
really cool. An amazing season of Top Chef. Thank you to everybody. And we'll keep you posted on the social media channels, Pack Your Knives on Instagram and Pack Knives on Twitter, in case we do any off-season stuff. I know Kevin and I will both be busy, but if there's some time, some bandwidth to do a rewatch of a season, let us know if you have any thoughts on which one we want to do. If we can bite that off and chew it up and eat it, maybe we will do that in the off-season. But congratulations, Kevin, on winning the fantasy season again. I'm gonna have to study up a lot on my draft big board next year because I'm losing my third pick. I got to really nail those first 2 picks. So, Kevin, it's been a real pleasure, and really looking forward to the next season of Top Chef already.
For Tom Habistro, this is Kevin Arnovitz, and this is Pack Your Knives.